I'm riding with some.
Right. Don't mess with
Texas. All right. Oh, it looks like it's recording.
Everyone,
Well, hello there in YouTube land. All right.
leg over and get those engines purged.
Well, hello there in YouTube land, and welcome back to the channel. And today we're at the Kawasaki demo day at Mainland Cycles, and we're gonna ride finally a Vulcan S. Let's see if it's a good idea to get your old lady one of these so that she can enjoy riding with you on your group rides. So let's hop on. So let's hop on this thing. Oh my God, it's so nimble.
Oh my God, I can't believe it.
It is so nimble, it feels like a toy. Just like a Fisher Price toy. All right, let's turn this thing on. It is here. Well, sounds like it has some pep. Let's check out the friction zone on this thing. Very simple, very Japanese, very easy to ride. It feels like it's going to be an easy one to ride. So the first impression is that this bike is very nimble, very light. One of the things that the Vulcan S is known for is its comfort. So I don't know. For me, it's fine. You see, it's very short, so I can bend my knee and have a bend on the knee. And have a bend on the knee, yeah.
When you jump from the train, bend your knees to soften the impact.
So another thing is that it's for the comfort thing, it's adjustable. You can move the controls. Right now they're in forward position.
All right, hate to interrupt your video.
No, go ahead.
Just want to talk to you about this bike.
Thank you so much. So as we was explaining, the controls are forward right now, but you can move them a little bit back. It has adjustability. The handlebars as well. It is cold today. All right. Hey, this is a very nice, comfortable ride. I think I'm revving it a little bit too much that I should, but so far the suspension feels very premium for a bike that is not that expensive. So here's the price, boom. And as I was explaining, it has adjustability all over the place. So right now, I feel like the bike was just made for me, right? But yeah, I mean, another thing that is weird about this bike is that it has an engine that was built for the Ninja 650. So that's a sport tourer, commuter type of bike, not really a cruiser. So that's something that, well, character-wise, is gonna just feel different from any other cruisers. Oh, it drops really good. I think this, well, obviously it's not going to have a quick shifter. Oh my God, it's really slow. I have to rev it up a little bit more so I can catch up with the group. I mean, we're not riding fast, but they're leaving me behind. All right, so now that I'm actually riding and I'm on the road, I feel like the handlebars are too narrow for some reason. Maybe because I'm used to the Harley's handlebars and they're a little bit more up on top. This one feels more like a bobber style seating position where my feet are really in front, and then I have to reach a little bit for the handlebars. So it's not uncomfortable, but it's different. I don't really like the dash thing here. I think that's something that they need to improve on it, because they've improved it on the different ones, and why not on this one? All right, so the 650 engine, The only bike I've ridden with it is the Versus 650, but that was like 5 years ago, and I noticed it was very slow. And well, today I'm having the same issue, and I don't want to rev it too much because it's a brand new bike. I don't want to kill it for anybody who actually buys these demo bikes, but still I'm gonna have to rev it a little bit more to see if I give it a little bit of the beans to see if it's as slow as it feels. Because you remember, guys, when we did the CX4R, I felt that it was slow, but then when you rev it really high, it woke up. So hopefully something like that is happening with this bike. So I don't know, let's see. But character-wise, obviously it costs like maybe half of what the Nightster does, the Harley, but the Harley feels a lot more exciting than this bike. This bike feels very boring so far. Hopefully when I open it up a little bit, it gives me a little bit more. But yeah, let's see. Let's try it. Oh, I need the guy on the... All right. Oh yeah, there it is. It's still pretty slow, but at least you feel the power coming on. But yeah, it's a freaking turtle, dude. But this is a bike, it should not be for me, right? It should not be for a guy who has middle experience. This would be more for your old lady to buy. And for a beginner rider, I think it's perfect because it's not going to be too heavy. It's pretty nimble, and it's pretty sporty. It's more of a sport bike chassis and engine, and it's just the precision. So it's for somebody who's short. I think it's a perfect beginner bike because it's not going to scare you if you accidentally, I don't know, forget to put the clutch in and you hit a bump. It's not going to scare you, right? But it's powerful enough to get you out of trouble. You can go on the freeway with this bike, and yeah, and then it's not so expensive that you think like, oh, I'm going to drop it, and then I'm going to be down, I don't know, $15,000 like you would on a Harley Nightster, because out the door that's what you're going to be end up paying now. Or another bike that I would compare it to riding position wise and the way it feels will be the Indian Scout. Obviously those bikes are much premium, are more premium and a lot better looking. This bike, looks wise, well, they say that looks are subjective or whatever, but they're not. There are ugly bikes and there are pretty bikes, and this bike's not the prettiest bike in the world, and it just it sounds like a sport bike. It does sound better than the Versys that I rode. Once you start getting used to it, you know, you start feeling that you have to rev it. It's not a cruiser. It's not a cruiser at all. It's just the riding position and the seat height. It's oh, this mirror keeps moving. Now the mirrors are not bad. You can see plenty of what's behind you. I thought it was going to be pretty terrible because when you're sitting, you get a whole lot of shoulder, but here, while we're riding, and then they move really smooth. They're easy to adjust, like these mirrors. Maybe not aesthetically, but functionality-wise, they're good. All right. I like the way it moves. I'm pretty sure you take this bike on the twisties and you're gonna have a hell of a good time, especially if those twisties are very, 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 very twisty, right? I hope you guys are getting a good shot at this. I feel like I'm a little bit too high on this. I forgot to turn off the blinker. I was doing the eventual right. Well, it's been a while since I've done one of these demos, so I don't even know what I'm talking about. So the suspension on this bike feels very good. I mean, I rode here on my Harley, and this one feels a lot stiffer, but it doesn't feel harder. It just feels smooth. So that's a very good job on this Kawasaki chassis. I think it's a good idea to have a sport bike chassis and suspension on a bike like this. I don't know, I like it. I think that's it. That's the end of the ride. It was pretty short. No, we're still going. Okay, we're still going. Maybe we're doing twice. We're doing that twice. One of the things that I do find that is weird about this bike is this, that the cable on the accelerator on the gas, it's very hard for some reason. I don't know if it's a safety feature for newbies, but it just takes some effort to actually pull on the throttle and give it some beans. I'm not telling you it's, oh, you need to go to the gym or anything, but it just feels, well, a little bit harder than on normal bikes or any other bike that I've ridden. It also has a lot of play here, which I think is also a safety feature, or maybe, I don't know, it's just some crappy work on the Kawasaki's. But look at this. But I don't know if you're just brand new to riding, and you can engage neutral, no problem. If you're just new to riding, you're gonna hit some bumps, you forget to put on the clutch, and then you feel that jerk, right? I don't think you're gonna feel it with this bike, so that's a good thing. What else? The clutch feels soft, and the brake so far has worked really well, and both of them. I think it's a surprise. This bike is much better than I anticipated. I don't really love the look of it, and this thing is just very old school. You need to do something about this Kawasaki. You have all the TFTs on all the 650s now. Why not on this one? Maybe this is the 23 bike, maybe on the 24 you got it. I don't know. I have to do some research on it. So components, they don't feel cheap, but they don't feel premium either. They're just like, it's a very functional bike. As I was saying, this is a perfect beginner bike for anybody who's short, and you don't have to decide if you like sport bike riding or cruiser riding, because you're getting a little bit of both on this bike. Maybe a little bit more sport than cruiser, but it is a cold day today. But I don't know, I like it. So far, I like the bike. If I were a beginner, I would be very happy with this bike. I remember I had my Honda CBR 500 as my second bike. My first bike was a CB190, which they don't sell here in the States, but this bike feels a little bit faster than that CBR. And if you're short and a sport bike is not for you, this will be an option. And you can have the controls over here, that would be better. I don't like the whole, I don't know, I do like them, but on a different type of bike. On a bike like this, what would I do on a bike like this? I would put the controls, mid controls maybe, and then I would put some nice drag bars, change some of the aesthetics on it, make it look a little bit more kick-ass. But yeah, it's not that turtle-ish. It's not that bad. It just doesn't feel like a cruiser. It feels like a sport bike, because it is. It's a sport bike dressed up as a cruiser for beginner riders to get their feet wet. And I don't think, if my wife decides, hey, I'm gonna buy this one, I'm not gonna talk her out of it, because I think she'll enjoy it. And this is not a bike that you're gonna get bored right away, especially for cruiser type riding, like going on a group with the Harleys. I'm pretty sure you can keep up with this bike, no problem with the big Harleys. Maybe not at the top end. Maybe, yeah, because the Harleys are not really fast at the top end, so. Okay. The transmission is so smooth. I like this bike. I wouldn't buy it for me right now because I don't know. Because it wouldn't make sense. I have faster bikes and I have more cruiser style bike than this, so I wouldn't buy it for me. But as I tell you, if my wife decided, hey, I'm gonna get this, I wouldn't mind commuting on this bike because it's comfortable, it's not fast but feels fast-ish, I don't know, fast-ish. It's so nimble. It's so funny. It's based on the Ninja 650, but I think this bike feels better than the Ninja 650. But we'll have to ride that one back to back. For now, what I want to do now is I want to try the Dominator, the new bike from Kawasaki's lineup from last year, to see if it makes sense. Because they already had this one, and it's not really that fast, but as I say, it's I like the sound, but it's the sound of the exhaust, the sound of the engine. It's a sport bike sound. It is not a cruiser style bike. So if the Dominator would be an option, like, why is it different? Why did they make that one? Because it's also not a V-twin. Well, maybe that one has a lot more character. Maybe it's even slower than this because it's a little 500, I believe. Do a little bit of research before we get on that one. But this one, it's a 650 inline twin that feels like a sport bike engine. And even though it doesn't have that cross-plane technology, or it's a flat twin, it feels, yeah, it doesn't have a lot of pep down low, but the way it sounds, it doesn't feel like a twin. It feels like if it were a very small 4-cylinder bike. It feels a lot like the CX-4R, especially down low. That's how it feels. So all these Kawasaki's, they I don't know, like they're lacking a little bit of grunt. This is nice. This is a nice road they're taking us on. Because last time we went on a ride on the Kawasaki demos on this part of town, and it was terrible. This is not that bad, especially for a bike like this. Yeah. Oh, the brakes are great, man. The brakes are really good, especially the front brake. I think they feel better than most of the bikes in this price range. I'm talking about the brakes. Kawasaki knows how to build bikes, and this one, it's been going on. I mean, it's been on the lineup forever, and you can see why. But I think they should have some design changes, because I mean, look at those C900 RSs and the 650, all the RSs, all those bikes are pretty awesome looking, and this bike is hideous. I don't know if you guys are hearing that exhaust note. It does not sound at all like a cruiser, but it's fun. It's always fun to ride bikes, man. I don't think I've ever had a bike where I'm like, I am never riding this again. I would rather stay in my home and be on my couch watching television. No. Even though I'm a film buff and I love watching movies, it's always more fun to be living in the world and riding a bike. And with this bike, believe me, you're gonna have a lot of fun. So if you were considering buying this bike, but there was something keeping you from it, believe me, you're not gonna regret it. The only reason you would want to a different bike is if you want to be faster. But I don't think for that price range, I don't know. I mean, I wouldn't trade this one for my R7 because I know I'm faster on my R7 than I am on this bike, but this bike is not as expensive. I think it's a perfect beginner bike, especially in a country like this one where you have all these highways and freeways where you need to go above 75, above 80. Sometimes you have to go 90 because the traffic is crazy. They're going really fast. I think this bike can keep it there, no problem, and you're not going to be scared of it because it's so smooth on everything and so easy to learn to maneuver on this bike. So yeah. The only thing, complaint now, I have to have a complaint because that's JP, that's how I am, is when you go down on the gears, sometimes you don't feel that they're engaging. So, even though the shifter box or whatever it's called is very smooth, the gearbox, it's very smooth, but sometimes you don't feel when you're going down, especially on hard decelerations, that you're engaging. No, it does. I don't know. Maybe it's just me that I'm not concentrating enough when I'm lowering the gears or I'm downshifting. I like it. I like this bike. It does feel pretty premium for what it is. If Kawasaki would come up with a brand new look for this that looks sort of like the RS's, I would definitely buy it. But not with this look, not with this aesthetics right now. But if they did come up with, let's say, an RS version of this bike that looks a little bit more like a classic style Kawasaki, but cruiser style, this engine is not that bad. I remember I hated it the first time I rode it on the Versus 650, but I think they've changed some things since then because it feels a lot better. Even sounds better. And this is not a bad demo ride because these streets that they're taking us on make you feel the suspension. It lets you test the suspension, lets you test a little bit of the acceleration on some of these roads. So it's a pretty good one. A lot better than last time, I can tell you. So what else can we talk about this bike? I mean, I'm really enjoying it, even though it's a very cold day today. I'm wearing a whole bunch of layers underneath, so I'm not cold, and I'm wearing these gloves that I bought on Amazon. They're pretty cheap gloves. They're supposed to be for skiing. So for a ride like this, where you're not going above 70 miles an hour, these gloves handle perfectly. But they're not. It's not about the gloves. It's about the bike. Yeah, you see, I had to. Yeah, I sometimes it just doesn't engage. Okay, and the good thing is we're not riding that slow as some other times, or maybe just feels like because I'm on maybe one of the slowest bikes on this demo. But I'm definitely getting a good idea of how this bike feels on this demo. Thank you so much, Mainland, for taking us out on this ride, on this demo tour. I always enjoy these. It's a whole bunch of fun getting to know new bikes and get to know new people, and it's always fun. Yeah, You need a little bit more. It is moving. I mean, it does move. It's not the fastest bike in the lineup, but it's definitely not the slowest either. I mean, I'm pretty sure this is faster than that KLR that's coming behind me. And especially on the low revs, it's gonna give that little CX4 a run for its money. Of course, now when that, you see what I'm talking about, it doesn't engage. It took me 3 times to go from second to first. And it's not that I'm hitting the neutral, it's not moving. You see what I'm talking about? It gives that CX4, I don't know if that guy's giving it the full beans, but I wasn't. Because of the way the throttle feels, as I told you, it's a little bit heavy. I didn't go all the way to the end of the throttle cable. So yeah, it's another thing that we didn't talk about. This bike does not have any electronics. I don't think it needs it. It's just so smooth the way it is. And it's a very old school type of bike, but more of a sport bike than a cruiser style bike. Well, that is it for today's video, guys. I hope you enjoyed it. Remember, if you liked the video, to give it a thumbs up. What are you giving them, JP? You Biden stuttering motherfucker. Alright, so give it a thumbs up, subscribe, hit the bell button, and share it with all your friends. If you don't like the video, well, share it with all your enemies. And I'll see you guys on the next one. There it is.